So I was debating on what to talk about today. I don't want to talk about Phil. I've had enough of talking about Phil. I didn't want to talk about LA Knight. I might do that in the future, but then I watched a bit of Raw, and I want to talk about my heart, my boy Shinsuke Nakamura. So, shall we dive straight into that? Hello and welcome to FTTR. I am Hugh McQuaid, and today we are talking about Shinsuke Nakamura, in particular why I think he should win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship from Seth Rollins. But before we dive into that, please hit subscribe, please like this video, please comment your thoughts down below on who you think should win the World Heavyweight Championship from Seth as we dive into this topic. First of all, the voice is still a little bit croaky, there might be a few coughs and a few splutters going on, but we'll power through. We will power through. So, last week on Raw, it was revealed that Shinsuke Nakamura will be the new challenger for Seth Rollins' World Heavyweight Championship. He turned heel on him after the match. And this week we got a showdown between the two. And what I loved about this is that Shinsuke is one of the most charismatic wrestlers on the planet, but he also says so much with so little. I loved the little touch at the end when he whispered something in Seth's ear, and we, the audience, don't know what he said. He could have said anything, and it sort of put this look of dismay on the face of Seth Rollins, giving him a little bit of fear, because at least with the Judgment Day feud and the Finn Balor feud, I feel like Seth hasn't really been challenged. He's never really felt like he's in any peril from the Judgment Day. But I felt like he gave that aura a little bit. We saw through the facade of the Seth freaking Rollins character and peeled that a little bit back, because he can be extravagant, he can be, full of nonsense. But this little interaction with Shinsuke really peeled back that facade, and I appreciated that. But why I think Nakamura should win, it's because it's fresh. It's really fresh. I feel like Seth has grown stale with this belt already. And looking back on the history of the championships that we have, so the last person who won like a first-time WWE champion was Big E in 2021, because in between there you've had Brock Lesnar, you've had Roman Reigns. That's it, pretty much, for the WWE lineage, and then you've got Seth, who has held the World Championship before, but he's now holding the World Heavyweight Championship. So Big E was the last person to win it for the first time and really give us that spark, and he had to use Money in the Bank to do so. The Universal Championship, the last person to hold that belt was Braun Strowman in 2020. He was a first-time winner of that championship. So I feel like we've not had any fresh faces sort of in the men's division win these world titles, and Shinsuke is the perfect candidate to do so. And I will tell you why. First of all, he was robbed. He should have beaten Jinder Mahal at SummerSlam and been crowned WWE Champion. He should have beaten AJ at WrestleMania and been crowned WWE Champion. But for some reason, he never went with Shinsuke. I think there's something very interesting with Nakamura in that you can play off his heritage to perfection. He could be a heel. He could be a badass tweener, sort of like a lone samurai, a lone warrior, just defending his gold. You could play off that incredibly well. And there's dream matches galore to have with Shinsuke Nakamura that I don't feel like we've seen. Me personally, I think Nakamura versus Brock Lesnar would be quite nice. Nakamura versus Balor again would be fun. Nakamura Lashley, these have probably happened, but it is what it is. Nakamura versus members of the Bloodline be interesting, because he never got that match with Roman. Remember that? He was supposed to have a match with Roman. There's just so many fresh contenders for a Shinsuke Nakamura World Heavyweight Champion, and I think he will look the bomb with the belt. I really think he would. I think he carries himself with that aura, and I'm here for it. I'm here for a Nakamura as champion. Seth, I think, has done enough. I get they probably want to keep the belt to establish the World Heavyweight Championship as a valuable prize, but it's never going to feel like the most valuable prize until Roman loses his belt, because Roman main events pay-per-views when it's just not even for the title, so it already feels secondary. So like with Money in the Bank, Finn and Seth should have really have main evented that show. It shouldn't have been the Civil War. But it just makes the belt feel inferior. Which is why you can give it to guys who who need pushing to that next level, like a Shinsuke, like an LA Knight. LA Knight is a perfect contender for the World Heavyweight Championship, but for some reason they don't seem to want to do that. So Nakamura at Payback, I believe the match is happening. I want to see him win. I really do. I think Balor should have won because that at least adds intrigue with Damian Priest and the Money in the Bank. He should have won that. And I think Shinsuke should beat Seth for it now. And I think I'm probably going to keep saying someone should beat Seth until someone actually does beat Seth. There's just so much you could do with a fresh champion. And I want to see them get behind a guy who can, who hasn't been given that opportunity yet. Yes, Nakamura held the Intercontinental Championship for ages and just didn't do anything, never defended it on pay-per-views. So give him a world title run. If you don't think he can, carry a promo, which every WWE wrestler seems to need to be able to do, give him a manager if you have to. I don't think he needs a manager. I think you could literally just have 6 months of storytelling just with him whispering at people because it's so cool, it's so badass, it's so intimidating. So yeah, Shinsuke Nakamura for me should win the World Heavyweight Championship very soon, beating Seth Rollins. And I'll be disappointed if it doesn't happen because, to be quite honest, I'm a bit sick of Seth Rollins. I think he's had his time. He's had his time with the belt. And it's time to put it on to someone new. Whether that be Shinsuke, LA Knight, Gunther, Cody Rhodes. All of those guys have not held the World Heavyweight Championship or held a world title in WWE. So give it to someone fresh. Let's push him to the moon. Hopefully it's Shinsuke. But I want to know what you guys think down in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Do you not? Let me know everything you want down in the comments below. And I'll try and apply to every single one of you. Thank you all ever so much for your support. And have a nice day.